Just a quick reminder to all the women out there, especially the younger women, please do older you, 40-year-old you, a favor and break up with that man. Do it now. When you're my age, you don't regret being single, but you wish you could go back in your 20s and break up with that guy and that other guy and that other guy. In fact, if you could do it all over again, men would just be something you played with. The relationships are a waste of time if they're not giving you O's or putting cash in your hand, and especially if they're being disrespectful or letting their friends be rude to you. Please do yourself a favor and kick them to the curb, in a really mean way too. And please stop comparing yourself to other people on Instagram and Facebook. They're just pretending they're happy. Most of them are not. Your mothers are not happy, your grandmothers were not happy. Marriage was a trap. Very few marriages actually benefit the woman. Most of the time it benefits the man. Don't be a slave, don't be a caretaker for your entire life. You are intelligent, you are talented, you are creative. It feels really good when you discover those things. You were never meant to revolve your life around a man. You're not here to get married and be a baby maker. Above all else, just follow your heart. What is it you sincerely want to do? What is it that you want to experience? But make sure that you're not doing that thing to fill a void in your heart. Go to therapy and get a dog, but you'll never regret the time being single. Taking care of yourself first. I promise you that.
Somebody got on my post and was basically like, I'm so glad we live in a generation of women who will get divorces and not stick with the kind of men that treat them bad. Whereas in the 50s and 60s, these women stayed with these men for a lifetime, knowing how unhappy and unfaithful the men were. But me personally, I pray for a generation of women that will walk away from a man at the first red flag, that will walk away when you know that it's not compatible, long before you get pregnant by him, long before you have to go to the altar or go through a divorce or have to go to a therapist because of all of the trauma that was caused to you in your life. I pray for a generation of women who are so comfortable with who they are, who know how valuable and powerful they are outside of marriage, so much so that they're actually okay with being alone, even if it means that they never marry or they never bear children, because they understand that the value of a woman is not contingent on if she's been married or if she's bore children. I pray for a generation of women who will not stay with people just because your thought process is, oh, if I never marry, that means something was wrong with me. Because I feel like a lot of women, they do marry, even if they know it's not right, simply because all these men and podcasts and generations to come have taught us that if you are not a wife, then what good are you? So I pray that you love yourself so much that once you know that this is not going to honor you, you walk away before it brings trauma to you.
I'm talking to my women today, especially my young women, because the kitty y'all know now is not the kitty that I used to be. I used to be dumb, stupid, slow, dunce. Okay, not too much on yourself, kitty. It doesn't matter what it is that you do. The more you hold on to that man, the more you hurting yourself. You so consumed with that man that you can't even see that he's your struggle. And if you can't see that he's your struggle, that means that you can't listen to the people who are trying to warn you that he's your struggle. You show up and you show up, you do more and more just to prove your worth to this man, just for him to love you. You sacrifice a bit of yourself each time that you are trying to prove to this man that you are worthy of his love. You crying and begging, asking yourself why, questioning your worth, because your worth has now become dependent on how much attention and time this man gives you. And the time and attention that he gives you is limited to maybe some back and forth text, maybe some sex. And when this man gets his fix, he dips. You think that man don't know what it is that he doing? A man who's played the game for so long, he knows when he has a woman's worth in his hand. He is playing you like a puppet, baby. And you acting crazy won't make him love you better. You want this man to love and respect you when you don't love and respect yourself. You showing him he don't have to give you nothing because you'll give yourself scraps so he can give you scraps. That's some desperate shit. How do you have a fear of losing people when you are dealing with someone who is purposely inconsistent with you? The only consistency that he shows is being inconsistent with you. This man is showing you that he'll leave as he pleases, and there is nothing that you can do to make him stay. This does not mean that you are not good enough. You're just not good enough for him, and that is okay. He does not want you on a deeper level, and that is okay. This man may not be ready. He may have commitment issues. He still may be in his player phase. He may have other options, or simply he may just not want you, and that is okay. No one's gonna take you serious until you start taking yourself serious. And you chasing unavailable people tells everybody else that you take yourself as a joke. You chasing out of fear. And that is not okay. Whatever dream and vision you have created obviously is not the same vision that this man has. You all don't share the same vision. Get out of dreamland. He is not gonna wake up one day and say, hello world, I decided to be with this desperate woman who doesn't love herself. It sounds harsh, but it's the truth. Take that man off that pedestal. What Cole say? My ego gets stroked and I bruise him. I learned a long time ago from my uncles, from the OGs, that a man will commit when he is ready. Stop chasing that man. Hey, you gonna end up putting yourself in a position you don't want to be in, where this man finds a woman and he falls in love with her, he commits to her, and then you turn up to end up being the bitter ex-fling or the bitter baby mama. That label don't even sound right. Leave that man alone. Brought to you by a woman that used to be a dummy. Ting. No, but seriously, leave that man alone, girl. Go get you some Starbucks.
A man will never leave you or tell you that he does not want you as long as you keep giving him access to you. But what he will do is continually show you he does not want you.
I'm going to be a little bit mean, and I want to hold your hand when I say this. When you get played by a guy and the summary is men just waste women's time to distract themselves from their problems and they're using sex as a distraction, that's fair. But if that happens to you over and over again, you find yourself in these situations with guys that you maybe sleep with a little too early, that can convince you that you're really special and there's a really great connection, but they just don't want anything serious. Maybe you are also doing the same thing. Maybe you are using male attention and validation and intimacy as an escape from loneliness, from a lack of hobbies, a lack of community with your friends, dissatisfaction with work. The list could go on, okay? And this doesn't make you or that guy a bad person, okay? This is information for you to reflect if you don't want to get in that kind of situation again, okay? The world is not able to progress and experience its full potential as long as women are fighting themselves or fighting other women for the attention of mediocre men. Please understand that you have the power to set the bar for the way that you are treated, okay? You do not just have to accept the attention of men and assume that it has to be an invitation to your body, to your empathy, to your intimacy, okay? Saying that men are wasting women's time getting access to sex because they're not doing anything meaningful in their lives means that on some level you are a target for a reason, okay? You've been played for a reason. It's not your fault, but at some point you need to take accountability, you need to take responsibility for the outcomes in your life if you're not satisfied with them. You like getting your time wasted by men, crying and throwing up because you're not getting what you want. That's fine. You don't want to cry and throw up anymore. Consider reorganizing your life and your priorities so that you are doing meaningful things in your life. And any man that's coming along and giving you attention for it, you are able to vet relative to the quality of life that you're living. Is this man adding to my life, or would being intimate with him or getting to know him or spending time with him take away from it? What am I bringing to the table as a woman, okay? What does this man want from me, and am I willing to give it? What do I need to see in return if I'm going to give this person access to my body, to my heart? So yeah, I'm going to let go of your hand now. You can listen to my podcast, Friend Crush with Amber Akilla, and you can follow me on Instagram and YouTube at Amber Akilla.
Whenever I see a woman say, you know, she's with tears in her eyes, you know, if all he wanted was sex, why didn't he just say that? If all he wanted was this, or if he didn't really want a relationship, why didn't he just say that? Because he was getting what he wanted from you without saying that. He knew that he would jeopardize the arrangement that he had, that he was enjoying, that he was benefiting from. That's why he didn't say that. Expecting a man to say, I'm just trying to use you. Are you okay with that? Like, girl, you got to be realistic. He's not going to say that. Saying what he has to say to get what he wants from you is what he has to do. So that's what he's going to do. It takes a level of maturity that men like this don't have to actually give you the option and say, I don't want anything serious. I know that you're a relationship kind of girl and I'm not willing to offer you one, but you still want to kick it anyway. You're not going to say yes to that. That's why they lie to you. They don't want you to reject them. They don't want their access to be denied. That's why they're not telling you everything up front.
Radio 2000 All Music, Your Memories. We received a letter this morning and it reads, I am dating this guy. He is married with 4 children and I have 3 kids. We met in 2022 and he says he wants to marry me as a second wife. He introduced me to his wife and everything is well. The only problem is his finances. He's a trader and has his own company, but I think he's not making money. He promised me so many things like my dream wedding and a house that I want, and even to this day, nothing has happened. He is so broke that even when I ask him about his finances, he says he is waiting for a big sum of money. I don't know when that money is coming. I'm so worried because I feel like my life is not moving forward. I feel like he's wasting my time. We love each other so much, and it's not that I want his money. I am a very independent woman, but as a lady, I need to be spoiled. He does not give me anything, not going out or anything. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. Please advise me.
Ladies, I know a lot of you are in situationships or just relationships and you want an outcome so bad. I'm going to tell you right now, this is what you should do when you feel like, when to give up on this man. You need to give up on this man when he has you waiting. You're waiting. You're playing this waiting game. He's not giving you definite answers as to if you guys are going to move forward in a relationship, if you guys are going to move forward with marriage, and you've already let him know this is something that you want, and it's just like at a standstill. That's when you need to give up on him. Also, when you need to give up on him is when you ask him to do small things for you, and he just forgets, or he just doesn't do it, or he doesn't seem like he wants to do it. That's when you start giving up on that person. That's when you need to let that person go. When they're constantly disrespecting you, when they're constantly doing little stuff that you've even said that you don't like and you thought you guys moved past it, and that person has not done it, because now at this point they're disrespecting you and they don't respect you as an individual. So you need to move on. Okay. And there's other things that you need to do as well. Back on that respect thing, it's kind of like he just doesn't want to impress you anymore. Like, you're not impressionable on him anymore. And, as sad as it is, that's when you need to get your stuff and say, you know what, I choose me. I choose what I want in my next life. I choose what I want in my next relationship. And right now, this is not cutting it. So that's when you walk away. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, it does not matter how many years I spent with this person. It doesn't matter how many months I spent with them. If they're not doing the things to progress this relationship forward, then it's not time for me to continue this relationship with this person. And as bad as it's gonna hurt, I want you to kick and scream and cry on your pillow. Don't let them see it's hurting you, and you go about your business. And that is when you need to walk away. Constantly reminding somebody something, especially someone that says that they love you, care about you, and respect you, you would not have to remind them. Okay. And when just small things turn into big arguments, okay, you ask them about something, and I'm not even talking about anything dealing with the person or anything like that in general. I just mean they just get upset. That's when you need to walk away.
I see so many women lie about their standards, and then they wonder why men don't take them seriously. And look, if you set a boundary with a man, but there is no consequence if he crosses that boundaries, then babe, you didn't set a boundary. You made an empty claim you can't uphold. This is why girls will be in like 5-6 year relationships, and every few months she finds out that he cheated on her again. She always says, this is your last chance. If you do it again, I'll break up with you. But all he has to do is say, I'm sorry, babe, it won't happen again. Here's some flowers. And he knows that she'll take him back. He's gonna keep doing it simply because she tolerates it. And I want better for you. Know your non-negotiables and be willing to walk away from a man who doesn't give you what you want. Every time you're walking away from mediocre, you're getting one step closer being with a man who will give you everything that you want.
And just before they had the nikah, my man says, I've only got £400 in my account.
Right, yeah. Okay.
They carried on. She said she's been married for nearly 12 months now, and she's covered his debts. She's bought him a new car. She's even had to, bless her soul, get a new job and work 37.5 hours more, a full-time job extra on top. Mm-hmm. She's working 2 jobs to support him. So now, moving forward, while on her birthday, he said to her, I'm going to take you out on your birthday, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the meal, he's basically said, I'm really sorry, I don't have this. Can you get it for me? Okay? And then now she's saying she just has no desire to please him. She's very upset. She's very unhappy. She's living on her own in the city. She's got no one to vent with.
She's in a role that's unnatural to her. Of course she's going to be frustrated. She's the man.
So let me finish. Because, however, I still do all the house shop. I fill up his petrol and much more else, as his paycheck goes straight away after paying the rent bills and the car insurance. But he's an honest soul and overall a good man. What do I do?
A man is on his best behavior when he knows you don't give a fuck. It's just that simple.
men choose the partner that fits the guy they want to be. So if you've ever been in relationships where there's all of this want, right? There's all this desire, this, I want to change, I want to be this way. It's because men choose a partner that reflects who they want to be. And the treatment that you receive, often terrible, right? As a result of that is a direct response to the fact that they're in a situation with something that they have no ability to maintain. And let me explain this. If a man is a successful businessman, he may want an equally successful partner. But when he sees that he doesn't match up to the needs of that relationship, right, what it would take to actually sustain that, he blames the partner. He dissociates, he cheats, he gets really dismissive, right? And ultimately that comes from a place of deep shame of having something that reflects a future version of himself that isn't present for the relationship. I think it's easy, especially as for people, anybody who dates men, to feel so happy and joyful in the beginning and to have them see all these incredible qualities in you and then have the relationship over time begin to break you down and wear you down and kind of make you question, like, why are we here? I thought you liked me. I thought that you wanted the same things. You know, we would have these discussions. We were so on the same page. What happened, right? I think it's really important to not take that personally and to take what men say at face value, right? I want to be better. I want to have this job or have these characteristics. But if they're not doing the things to get it, then at the end of the day, you will be a constant representation of where they're failing to show up for themselves. And they will always resent you for that. And I'm not saying this is a power dynamic that doesn't show up in other ways and other types of relationships, but I find it most consistently with the same set of behaviors and patterns in men, because I think there's an aspirational quality to men because they have the right to self-identify, right? They have the idea to believe that what they want to be, what they wish they could be, is good enough without actually doing the work to be it. And I don't know any other marginalized people that haven't made the connection in the ways that men have failed to make this connection, that in order to be what you want to be, you have to make radical steps and changes to embody that new thing, right? If I want to be a better listener, I have to learn to be a better listener. I have to understand what's blocking my ability to listen. I would never just sit over and over again and say I want to be a better listener and not take a proactive role in becoming that. And I think it's important to remember this in terms of preserving your own self-esteem and your own self-worth, that just because someone wanted you but didn't have the space for you doesn't mean that you're the problem. And it doesn't mean that you failed the relationship. And if you're finding yourself trying to reconcile the behavior to the intention of a person in your life, but especially a man, understanding that even you doing that level of labor is something they're not doing. They're not. And it's a clear sign that something isn't working, something's not adding up. And the longer it goes, right, the more that resentment builds. The longer you show up in your values and you keep setting high standards for yourself and your relationship, the more that resentment will be reflected towards you. And it's sad, but it's true that the only way for that to ever improve is for the person that you're with to take a proactive role in their life and make the changes they need to feel satisfied and content with the person that they are.
Men disrespecting women's time. I'm gonna start with that one. If you know that you're not gonna be with this woman and you don't see her in your future and you know that she wants to move on with the next steps in life, let her go and don't waste her time, because you men can have kids whenever the hell you want. 90, 50, 75, it don't matter. We don't work that way. And on top of that, we are at risk at losing our lives each year after 30.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I find that so disrespectful.
And I feel like some people or men will go knowing that they don't want to be with this person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't say, she's good for right now. Attitude. Like, what? She's good for right now.
Right, because they think they have options, which you're going to get into later on.
That's a great topic.
Right.
Right? So I'm like, there's no way that men sit here and really... They're okay with it. They don't care. But they don't want to let you go either.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be in another relationship, but while they have you, they may not treat you the best. They may not do what they're supposed to do.
Minimum.
Which is, give me a break. Come on.
Right.
So, like, how are we allowing men to still, like, behave in that manner?
They got married.
That man can't make a plan to save his life, and yet you always make time whenever he does pop up. You are clearing your schedule for this man who obviously doesn't value your time because he hits you up last minute, and his schedule is so jam-packed whenever you do try to make plans in advance. If he can't make time for you, girl, you have no time for him. Stop being so available and leave that man alone.
You're only wasting your time with a man that does not have the same vision on how you want to run your household and how you want to live your lifestyle. That's when you're wasting your time, because now you're just having fun. Now time is passing you, you're having fun, and now when it's time to have a family, now you're settling. Don't want to settle. Do not settle for someone that does not match your lifestyle or match the way you want to live your life.
Nowadays, men aren't proper men anymore. And to me, one of the gravest sins a man can commit against a woman is wasting her time. يعني لا أنت جاهز. You're not ready. You're not financially capable. You're not emotionally capable. You're nowhere near ready taking on the responsibility that is caring and protecting a woman. And that's all they seek. It's one of the gravest sins you can commit. Especially that girls are ready. A lot of women are ready. They're like, I want to be married. I want to have children. I want to open a home. And you know that that's what she wants. And you waste her time.
Okay, baby, so I don't want you to waste your time. So here are a few signs that he is wasting your time and he does not see you as his wifey, dream girl, but he is just using you. And he doesn't even realize that, okay? Number one, he has not introduced you to his inner circle, to his friends, to his inner circle, because it's harder to extricate you, to cut you out of his life if you're already integrated with his circle, okay? It's harder to do that. So he doesn't introduce you. In the back of his nugget, in the back of his fat head, he knows that you're not his dream girl, so maybe it'll be easier to off you if you are not fully involved. Sign number dos, he keeps trying to get money out of you. Even if you think it's a sign he wants to be with you because he's asked you to move in and split rent. Oh my God, he loves me. He wants to split rent with me. That's so romantic. No, it's not. No, it's not. He's using you as a placeholder, okay, for his fat ass, because he wants somebody to split rent with until he meets his dream girl. Until he meets his dream girl, who he would never dare ask that of. I'm not talking about marriage and splitting finances and things like that, but if he's trying to be like, oh, should we split this bill? Should we split this rent? Should we split? No. You're not his dream girl, you're a placeholder. Another thing that he will be doing is he won't be getting all flustered when you talk about the future. You'll be like, I want to go to McDonald's next week. He's like, next week, McDonald's. I don't know, next week, I don't know what. I'm getting flustered. Why are you giving it away that you don't even see me in the future? We think it's because he's like so nervous around us, or maybe like he's gone to buy us a wedding ring. He hasn't gone to buy you a wedding ring. He just doesn't see you in his future. You're just a placeholder, okay? I know these things are painful. I know these are painful truths, but it is a fact. You need to attract and not chase him. Do you understand? Attract. Live your own life. Be the divine version of you, feminine energy, okay, gang? You get it? Yeah? Then you won't have these problems, because we don't have time. We don't have time to be raising other people's sons, paying their rent in our 20s and doing all these things, because we don't have time for that. Just make sure you date the men who actually want to be with you.
People that will waste your time start off very strong as far as like friends, or men who really want to get something quick and go, to try to rush you somewhere, but they don't they don't want to know anything about you. They don't care about your personal life. They don't ask too many questions. Even if you are going to tell them something else, they still don't even ask. This is how you know that they're not planning to be in your life for a while. They don't even care about anything about you or your life at all. So they're not going to pay attention. A lot of times they will quickly cut you off when you're speaking, because they're trying to hurry up and get their information in so they can get in and get out. So maybe pay attention to those things, okay? Also, if they're short with their own time, if they don't have a lot of time for you, that means they're wasting your time, because if you first meet someone, if they give you this amount of time in the beginning, it's going to shrink if you continue. So look out for people that are quick in and out. Look out for people that don't care to ask you any type of questions that most normal people would ask. And also make sure that, you kind of don't ignore what you're witnessing, or the actions, because if you do, then you'll probably be wasting a lot of time in your future with that person, because they're telling you everything about themselves as soon as you meet them. I don't have any time for you. I don't care about anything about your life. I'm going to hurry up and say what I got to say, get in and get out. I'll come check back later to see if you've made up your mind. And then probably most likely, I'll waste your time. So make sure you pay attention, because a lot of women are like, oh my gosh, why didn't he call me back? It's been 3 days, or because he got in and got out.
You're attached to a Dusty. That's your fault. If you in a relationship with a Dusty, it's your fault. It ain't his fault, because you accepted him as Dusty from the start. You had no standards, okay? So we're not going to blame the man in this situation. We're going to take accountability for the desperation of pick-me-shiness that you were in when you decided that you just needed a man, any kind of man, even if he was Dusty. We're going to take accountability for that. Okay, ladies? Because the only way to change is to take accountability for your own action. And if you take accountability for being desperate at the time that you accepted whatever you accepted as a Dusty, now you got to understand that you can't accept it anymore. That's literally it. You don't accept it anymore. People change, people grow. If you're growing and you're changing, then you can't accept the same stuff that you used to accept. That's literally it. So you can't hold on to the past by talking about you're emotionally attached to your mistake. You can't claim that you're emotionally attached to something that you only took on because you were desperate. You have grown past that. You need more now. Therefore, if you're emotionally attached to someone that you only needed validation from when you were at your lowest or desperatest point, great. Acknowledge that. You were there. You got what you needed out of the situation. Now you're better. If you say, well, that's not right, you can't just discard people. Men do it to women all the time. And if you really think about it, he's supposed to be providing in the relationship. So he's literally in the wrong. You're doing him a favor by allowing him to man up for the next woman, or allowing yourself to be free so you can find a man you actually respect. Either way, you're going to be correct and correcting the situation, no matter what. So you don't have to feel bad about it, because you're no longer going to be an enabler, which is a good thing. And you're no longer going to be in a place of desperation and accept less than what you deserve. So either way, you're still going to be doing better. You just have to leave the place of attachment that you needed to be validated at the time that you were desperate. You're no longer desperate anymore. You have knowledge. You've leveled up. You don't need it no more. It's kind of like when you level up your wardrobe. It's kind of like you level up a lot of different things. You got to level up everything. You're not driving the first car you ever bought or purchased if when you're like 45 years old. You're not driving the car you got when you was 16. You ain't driving that, are you? You got what you could afford. You got what you were able to get. But you're not still driving that same car at 45, are you? No, you ain't. It's a little level up. And people get emotionally attached to their vehicles and cars too, but that doesn't mean they're not happy to get something better. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Man will absolutely date you for years and never marry you and drag you along for years. Let me explain. Girls, I am telling you, I'm reading so many of my comments and it makes me so sad because I see these girls saying that they've been with these guys for years and they wasted all these years with a guy. Girls, I'm telling you from personal experience, and I'm also telling you from the fact that I work with thousands of men, thousands of them. A guy knows when you're the girl, and they know early on. But guys are different than us. See, if we don't like a guy, we're not going to have, sex with them. We're not going to, if we don't like them, we don't want to be bothered with them. Men are not the same. Men are not the same. A guy will stay with the girl that he's getting sex from. Maybe she's pretty. Maybe she's, fun to be around. Maybe, think about it. He's got someone to go out with for holidays. He has someone to be his +1. But he'll never propose. He just won't. He won't talk about a future. Guys, when you're the girl, you're going to know you're the girl. But I also want you to be careful because you will also have some guys that will lie to you and say, I love you. I want to marry you. I promise I'm going to put my ring on your finger. And you'll be like, oh my God, he loves me. He's going to marry me. And they never do. That's not a good guy either. Listen to me, girls, please. A guy knows early on if you're the girl for him. And if you're the girl for him, you will not ever be in doubt. Trust me on this. You'll never be in doubt. Never. If you're in doubt or if you're in a dating relationship that's gone on for years and years it's not a good sign. I have to be honest. You're probably not the girl he's going to marry. And if he does marry you after a long period of time because you bitched at him and complained at him and people are like, why don't you marry the girl? Why don't you marry the girl? Now he feels like a jerk for not marrying you. He will not be a good husband because you're not the girl of his dreams. In my opinion, I know it's an old-fashioned way of thinking, but I swear I absolutely believe this is very, very true. A guy has to like the girl more than the girl likes the guy. The minute the girl starts liking the guy more than the guy likes the girl, the dynamic of the relationship changes. She starts to chase. She doesn't even realize she's doing it. No guy wants something that they want to feel like they got a prize, like they won something, like, look at what I got. This is my girl. That's what they want. They want the girl that they can show off to everybody and say, this is mine. And that's not about like beauty. That's about like, they love you. They love every part of you. And they can't imagine their life without you. Just imagine what I'm trying to say here. If you are not the girl, they're not going to propose. They will drag the relationship out. So if you're in a relationship for years and you're like, it's not going anywhere, I haven't gotten a ring and this and that, more than likely it's because you're not the girl and he's kind of holding out to see if the right girl comes along. You don't want to be the girl he settles for. You want to be the girl that he wanted more than anything. So I hope that helped. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye.
How to tell if a man is going to waste your time, part 4. Don't make the mistake of not saving this video and then when the men report it, you don't have it anymore. Step 1, you must gauge his interest in you, because if he's not truly interested in you, he's just here to waste your time. Now, there's plenty of ways for him to pretend to be interested in you. It's very slick, but if you use the right technique, you can easily spot the guys who are being fake interested and the guys who are really interested. Which leads me to step number 2. You ask this particular question: what character traits or personality traits unique to me do you like about me specifically? Now, first you must know what answers you cannot accept when you ask him that question. First, you cannot accept a vague answer, meaning anything like, oh, you're nice, I like that you're kind, just stuff that you can apply to anyone. He also can't answer the question with any physical traits like, oh, you have a really nice butt, you got really nice smile. Beauty fades. That's not a reason he likes you specifically. The third answer you won't accept is an answer that has to do or relates back to himself. So something along the lines of, I like that you're so nice to me. I love how you treat me. I love the way you do things for me. Because those answers aren't about you. It's about him. If he's not truly interested in you and he's a faker, this will be an impossible question for him to answer. Only someone who is truly interested in you will understand the details of your character that they are even interested in. Because the fakers aren't even paying attention to you or the relationship enough to hold that information in or even understand it in the first place.
What do guys mean when they say that they have a lot going on? Sis, it means he doesn't want you. Or it means that he's got what he wants from you, the box, and he's bored of that now. A lot of women struggle to understand how much of an act men can put on to get the box. Most men's main agenda in dating is to sleep with you. And men very easily understand that women are looking for their Prince Charming, the person to do life with. So they have fully comprehended that the easiest way to get you to give up the goods is to pretend to be that person. And they have fully mastered the art of pretending that they're in love with you in the beginning. But also, my loves, please can we start using our sense and our logic? A man cannot fall in love with you in a week, 2 weeks. That is just not how men are wired. Like, men need to be around you, see how you react in certain situations, see how you speak to them, see, things that are important to them, and see that play out. Men take a very long time to fall in love. I would even go as far as to say a lot of times when men even propose to women, they aren't necessarily always in love. They know that there's a big possibility that they're going to be able to eventually fall in love with that woman, and so they're able to make that commitment. But it often takes men years to fall in love. So please, let's understand that. If a man is telling you that he loves you or in love with you or sees marriage with you in like a month, 2 months, 3 months, he's love bombing you or he's trying to trick you out of your panties. Let's just get that out of the way. So a man will use all his tricks, his special words to make you fall in love with him. And remember, a lot of men have, especially desirable men, have done this often. They have a lot of experience doing this, so they know what works. They know what hits. So you understandably, before this video, fall for it, give him what he wants in terms of your body usually, and then continue in the mindset that you're building something. Now, the thing about men is they can only carry on with that, but for so long, because A, they were never in love with you. They weren't really in like with you a lot of times. So while your box is still interesting to them, they are able to continue to be nice to you and carry on that vein. But as it starts to become boring, and it will start to become boring to a man who doesn't hold deep feelings for you, there's only so many ways he can flip you and dip you. So he will start to pull away because he's looking for some new box, because the only thing better than box is some fresh box. That's men for you. But because he sold you such a big dream, he can't turn around and say, oh no, I just wanted to smash. Most men will not do that. So it will be every excuse under the sun except I've slept with you and now we're done. So let me tell you something. When you're dating a man, and especially if you slept with him and you start to feel confused, you start to not understand what's going on, this is what's going on. That man is done with you. He wants to move away from you. And if you want to test it, don't call him, don't text him, and see, A, if he reaches out to you, and cut off the sex and see if he continues to talk to you. See if he continues to reach out to you. See if he continues to chase you, because I promise you, you will soon realize that that is what his decision is being fueled by. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I really want women to understand this so we can stop sitting in heartbreak. There is no need to be heartbroken. There is a need to learn a lesson and apply it for the next time, so that when you actually find the man that's for you, you're operating in the right mindset. Now, like I always say, there's always an exception to the rule. For best results, assume it's not you. Mwah.
There's a very common lie that men will tell women. If you've been dating a guy for more than 6 months, a lot of times, if he's not actually looking for anything real with you, he'll tell you something like he doesn't know what he wants. He'll tell you that he's confused. He'll tell you, anything around that. And they've done studies on this, and they found that 99% of men, basically all men, by the 6-month mark, know what kind of a relationship they ultimately want to have with the woman that they're seeing. And so if he's been seeing you for that long and he still doesn't know, he actually does know, but he's afraid of telling you because of how he thinks you will react when you find out that he isn't really serious about you. Follow me for more tips.
So ladies, let me tell you, just stay far away from guys who do this. Do not see guys who don't take lead. Now, before everyone starts raging in the comments and being like, oh, girls can take lead too, all this stuff, I 100% agree, but there are specific examples where guys should 100% take lead. For example, if you just started talking to a guy, I think it's fair to say that you want the guy to be making the effort to plan the first date. Even like the first handful of dates. So if the guy isn't planning the first handful of dates, this is usually a red flag. And if you're talking to a confident guy, it'll only take him like 3 or 4 days of talking to, whether it's through text, whether it's through FaceTime or calling you, like whatever it is, it'll take 3 to 4 days for him to actually plan that first date. And if it's taking him longer than that, well then just wash him out, get rid of him. Sounds super harsh, but that's just the cold hard reality. Use this information as you wish, and as always, have an awesome day.
My motto for 2022 is don't waste my time, yo. Listen, if you don't know what you want out of a relationship and you still date, you are trying to waste my time. If you don't know if you want to be a husband and or wife, you are wasting somebody's time. If you don't know if you got enough time to invest in a relationship, if you're going to be too busy, or if you're not emotionally available, you are wasting somebody's time. If you are dating just to get over the heartbreak that somebody else caused or fill a void of not feeling or finding your purpose, then you are wasting somebody's time. In 2022, don't waste my time. Period. Don't waste my time. The worst thing you can do to me is waste my time.
Men